Hello, I'm Kris of Krissy's Over the Mountain Crochet. Welcome to my side of the mountain. Today I'm going to show you how to add the adorable snow puff cluster to this Christmas tree dishcloth. It's two-sided, and I have added red heart Scrubby sparkle to look like snow puffs on the Christmas tree. So fun. And this is such a wonderful treatment. I've used dishcloth yarn so you can wash, but then the Scrubby yarn will help you when it comes time to scrubbing those pots and pans. Isn't that just fun and fun to have in the kitchen and fun for the kids? You could probably even give the kids one of these to wash in the bathtub, but that is a lot of Scrubby. But what a wonderful little item and fun item to have in your kitchen. Now, this was made using dishcloth yarn, and I'll use any dishcloth yarn, it doesn't matter, but this was Crafter's Secret, and the color is candy pink. I also used, for these two, I used a sugar and cream, and it doesn't matter, just so long as it's a dishcloth type of yarn. Premier has a nice dishcloth yarn. There are so many out there. You probably have enough in your stash to make this Christmas tree dishcloth. Let's get started. Let me get to the details. So let's talk about the base of the dishcloth, the Christmas dishcloth. So the base is made using cotton dishcloth yarn. You can find the crochet pattern at Krissy's overthemountain.crochet.com. If you don't immediately find it when you get to my website, there is a search bar and type in Christmas dishcloth and it will show up. So let's talk about this. I have strategically placed increases at the top to start a little bit of a curve on these back loop stitches. I placed periodically, you will put the stitches in the back loop so that the top loop is exposed, and this is where we're going to put the little bobble stitch or the little cluster stitch that makes it look like a bunch of snow, and we'll add a little tuft of Red Heart Scrubby sparkle here. But first, on the fold, we need to place markers. I use bobby pins. Bobby pins are always handy in my home. The little plastic ones break on me constantly, and these just slip right in and slip right out. So I'm using bobby pins, and I'm placing a marker on both sides. Now I want to point out something. The crochet pattern will have a certain amount of stitches that will happen. We'll have a certain amount of stitches that will happen when you add the single crochet base around these stitches. Now, it is so easy. I don't know if you can see the seam here or not. It is so easy to catch that extra loop that is really actually a join loop. It's okay. Red Heart Scrubby is so fluffy and full that if you have to skip a stitch when you're joining at the join, I'm not sure where the join is, I think it might be right there, or add an extra stitch, it really isn't going to matter. This stitch is so forgiving, and the yarn is so forgiving. It's more the yarn is forgiving. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Don't panic if you don't have the exact amount of stitches, because you may have picked up a join loop there, and that's totally okay. So the basic way this works is we will put our crochet hook under with the top of the tree pointed away from us. Put the crochet hook under and execute single crochets across the front and across the back, but now at the sides, this little stitch has been stretched out. At the side, you're going to put two crochet hooks, two single crochets right in front of the marked stitch, two single crochets in the marked stitch, and two single crochets on the other side of the marked stitch, and one single crochet all the way around until you hit the stitch before the marked stitch. That's two single crochets, and two single crochets. And here's how we get started. we make a slip stitch with the Red Heart Scrubby yarn. I do that by making a loop, going underneath and pulling a loop through, and then putting it on my hook, tightening it down, not real tight. I'm going to start right here in this loop, in this marked stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and I have 2 on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, and I've made my first single crochet. I'll make another single crochet. I'll make 2 single crochets in this next stitch. And I will make 1 single crochet across until I get to the single crochet here that is beside the marked stitch. Let me speed up the camera and make those single crochets in these stitches across the front. That I need 2 single crochets right there. 1, 2. I'm going to take this marker out, and I need 2 single crochets in the stitch that had the marker. I may have just hit, I believe I'm going to bypass that. That is the join loop, but if I don't, it's not going to create any problems. And 2. All right, so I have 6 stitches right in a row. That helps give a fullness to the stitches so that when it goes around the fold, it's not going to poke out. Now it's time to execute 1 single crochet in each stitch across until I get to this stitch, and this is the last one. There needs to be 2 single crochets right here. Now 2 single crochets right here. Okay, we should have 25 single crochets. We're going off of the stitch count of row 4. Row 4 had 19 single crochets. We added 6 stitches, so that's 25. If you have 26, you may have accidentally hit that that join loop, and that's okay. Let me get this marker out of the way. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the top of the first single crochet, and I'm going to turn. Now the point or the top of the tree is facing me. So I have turned. That first stitch was a slip stitch. I will slip stitch in this next stitch, and now I'm going to start the cluster. And the cluster is yarn over, insert hook into the stitch and draw up a loop and pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. We have 3 on the hook now. We are going to need to have 5. So one more time will give us 4. Pull through 2, we have 4. Yarn over, pull through 2, we have 5 loops on the hook. Now yarn over, pull through all 5, kind of tighten that down, chain 1 to close that stitch, and we will single slip stitch in the next stitch. I'm going to try to push this forward a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't happen as soon as I want it to. Sometimes I have to go back and push that out, but this next stitch is a slip stitch. There we go. And another slip stitch. So it's 2 slip stitches in a row. So it's a cluster, 2 slip stitches, and let's make another cluster. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 3, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 4, so 1 more. yarn over, pull through 2, and that's 5. Pull through all 5 on the loop, ratchet so it gets tight, and a chain 1. Okay, so now I'm going to try to push this forward a little bit, smush it down, and slip stitch in this next stitch. Make that as tight as I can. Whoops, I missed it. There we go, I got it that time. All right. Now you can go back through after you're done with these rows and push those clusters out so they look like little blobs of snow on the tree. One more single crochet, slip stitch, not single crochet, another cluster. So the pattern is 2 slip stitches and a cluster, 2 slip stitches and a cluster, 2 slip stitches and a cluster, and there's 5 on the hook. Pull through, tighten it down, slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in this next stitch again, and I will go through the steps of a cluster one more time, a little more slowly. So let's see, let's get this in real good focus. So this is the stitch I'm going to be using. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert a hook. I missed the hole. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. We have one more to do. This makes 4, but it gives you 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. You now have 5 loops on your hook. Pull through, ratchet down, chain 1, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay. Now, see, there all it takes is a little shove from behind, and that looks like snow on the ends of the tree limbs. Isn't that pretty? You can pleat that all the way around. Let me do that. Let me speed the camera up, and I'll show you what it's like to join. Okay, so I finished my last little bauble or cluster or puff of snow. I finished my little snow puff, and I executed a slip stitch in the next stitch, and I can just join right here. Absolutely no problems to just join right here. There we go. And we have finished that little first row of snow puffs. So cute. This is how you would execute the second row of snow puffs and the third row of snow puffs. You cut the yarn and you finish off and pull it tight. Then you take a yarn needle and you pull both. I like to go through the yarn a bit, through the scrubby yarn bit, and then bring the yarn tail to the middle. Work both yarn tails to the middle. There you go. And how cute is that? And it has a natural fold. And some of the snow puffs need to be puffed out, but that's okay. And there you go. There you have it. You have a beautiful and cute little bunches and puffs of snow on the tree limb. Okay, so the last step I'm going to show you is how to add that little tuft of snow at the very top. I don't really need to demonstrate these 2 rows for you. You know what happens. It's exactly the same. The stitch count will be on the crochet pattern at Christmas. Okay, so let's make the little tuft of snow at the top of the Christmas tree. Make sure that your Christmas tree is the right side. The right side does not have that seam. There's the seam, so this is the wrong side. Let me show that again. This is the seam. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. So we're going to put the tuft of snow at the very top. We start out with a slip knot, place that on our hook. Now we go in to the top of one of these stitches while the yarn is on our hook. Go in and then out the very center. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Now go ahead and pull it up this direction. Don't leave it down here. Pull it up. Make a single crochet. Now we're going to make a picot. Picot is chain 3 and then slip stitch into the first chain made. You can make this a chain 4 if you'd like. There we go. Picots are a little fiddly. Now we're going to make one more picot in the front. Do the exact same thing. We find the hole. That's out the other side. I want to go up into the center. I'm going to have to work on that. This is a little bit hard. All right, there I did it. I went up through the center. Going to pull without catching any extra yarn. There we go. And pull it up. Single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch, and turn. I need to do this one time on the back side. Now, I like to make sure this tail is pulled in. All right, here we go. We're going to go one more time. If you can fit 4 in there, you're better than me. I can only get 3. Okay, I'm up through the center. Yarn over, pull up a single crochet, pull up the loop to make a single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the first chain. There we go. And now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. End off. There we go. And that's all there is to that little tuft of snow at the top. It's kind of cute, isn't it? You may have a better treatment, and you're welcome to use that better treatment for the snow top at the top of the tree. So you know how to make the single crochet base while the tree is turned around, and then you turn it back towards you to make the cluster. Then you make the little puff of snow at the top by starting out with the front of the tree facing you. Then you go ahead and execute the exact same single crochet and cluster row around these other 2 rows that have the loop exposed. It's all written in the pattern. Now the next thing we need to do is open this up and finish off all of these yarn tails that you have brought to the inside. You need to finish those up first. I made the mistake of not finishing them up before I made my first Christmas ornament dishcloth, and I don't think I can use that. I think it will fall apart. At any rate, we now have an open dishcloth. So you've cleaned up your yarn tails on the inside, and you have trimmed them all up. Now you take this extra long yarn tail. Let's pretend I have cleaned up these yarn tails. Let's just stick it back inside. So, feed your yarn through, and then you just start whipping it closed. I like to run my yarn to the end and then start whipping it closed. You can close it however you would like. At any rate, it was wonderful having you on my side of the mountain. I hope you'll join me again soon. You may be asking why there's a pink Christmas tree. I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. God has been so good to me. I'm so thankful. I am not living in fear of this cancer. I will have surgery soon. If you would like to follow my progress on breast cancer, you can go to the Facebook group, Krissy's Over the Mountain Crochet and Crafts, and I will be talking about my journey there, or you can access a little bit about my journey on my About page at ChrissysOverTheMountainCrochet.com. I'll put all the links at the bottom. It was so good to have you on my side of the mountain. Come again soon. Bye.